Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I just wanted to do an update on my robot here because I made a lot of changes since the last video I made, which I made months ago, talking about um, the speculations of the robot. A lot has changed. It is basically a completely different robot now, and I just wanted to go over some of it. You may have already noticed a couple differences in the clip I showed before, but here I'll get into a fully detailed explanation on what is going on here. I have switched to a lithium polymer battery. This one I actually got for my birthday. It's 11.1 volts, 5,000 milliamp hours, with
50 amps continuous
capability. That's more than enough to power this entire robot with everything stalled. I've also switched to proportional drive for everything, hence these speed controllers. I've removed the Arduino from here. I put it there because the last Arduino actually had hard soldered to the circuit board. And yeah, you may be wondering why I decided to switch to a proportional drive. If you are, here's just one little quick reason. This was the last driver. This is what it's been replaced with. Much less room is being used up, and it's also a lot more responsive. This is a dual relay stage. These are just control relays, which control these drive relays, which control the wheel. These take the commands directly from the Arduino to power the motors directly. They do everything themselves. And they're just a lot faster, and also they have proportional drive capability, which allow the motors to go at different speeds depending on the position of the joystick. They also take much less power on the signal side. The relays were actually blowing the Arduino because the drive relays, or the control relays I mean, were taking too much power in total, and they were blowing the serial ports in the Arduino, and they would just stop working. So since these are MOSFETs, they take literally no current on the input, or at least anything that the Arduino will even begin to notice. So it's just much better for the Arduino. These speed controllers I also got for my birthday. This one I went and bought myself. This one is just a little cheap one. I didn't even bother to take the pot off. This one's still controlled by the Arduino. The pot basically just acts as a switch because at first it acted as the speed controlling knob and the switch. Now I just use it as a weapon switch. Switch is right there. This is the Arduino encapsulated in a huge piece of heatsink. This receiver is actually a brand new receiver. The last time I showed this to you, that other receiver got fried, so I got this brand new one, also for my birthday. The great thing about this new design is that it's so much lighter. I can pick it up with one hand without much of an issue. With the last one, it was so much harder because of that huge lead acid battery I had on there. Now, the robot barely notices the weight of the battery because it's so light. It's probably like half a kilo, if not less. So now the heaviest things on the robot are just the drive motors and also this weapon configuration here. I just recently figured out just how heavy this thing can be. If you look right now, you'll see that my robot actually managed to do wheelies because it was much more back heavy than front heavy. It doesn't do this when the weapon's not on there. It's only when the weapon's taken off. The weapon mount hasn't changed much, except I'm using these really big screws. They're actually much longer, but you can see I cut them off there. I just drilled them into there, cut off the bottom. They're really nice and thick screws. They really dig into this MDF. I've had a couple of issues with the impacts being so strong that the weapon configuration just comes off. And because the screws actually rip their threads out of the MDF, they rip the MDF. So hopefully I don't have that issue with these screws. I've took a couple tests and you can see it's still on here. So that part's good. As for the bottom, to be honest, nothing much has really changed. The only significant thing that's changed is in the motors themselves. I've had a couple issues with these motor shafts getting ripped out of the motor, and that's because they were held on with friction fit. They're still held on with friction fit, but with much better method. I actually used solder and put that on the shafts and sanded them down and tapped them into the motor shaft, and now they're in there really good. And I actually used a heat shrink to secure those wheels in place and glued the wheels to the heat shrink. And yeah, that's honestly about it. As you can see, a lot has changed while also a lot has stayed the same. I cannot wait to get in some fights with this huge robot. This thing is scary, honestly. I will be posting any fights that I compete in with this robot, so stay tuned for that. And yeah.